Ooh, let's watch some Cope. Let's watch some liberal Cope.
In everything that he tried.
Okay. I love a good liberal Cope, okay? People should know this about me. Liberal Cope, it shoot it through my veins. Look, I like to cope as much as the next guy, okay? I sometimes watch videos or read articles that make me feel really good. Usually they're about the impending collapse of the American empire. But I always keep in the back of my head, or recently another one, that Netanyahu is dead or whatever, right? Like, uh, sometimes I think it's fun to play make believe a little bit, and I'm not the only one that does it. These libs, they like to play make believe all the time, okay? Um, which I guess is kind of what they're going to be doing here anyway. But I don't really see anything wrong with doing a little cope every once in a while. Sometimes it helps you get through the day or whatever. But I do think that you should always keep in mind when something sounds too good to be true or whatever, like Trump is dead or he's going to die tomorrow or whatever, like to just always kind of never get your hopes up too much or whatever. But anyway, this is going to be James Carville. The old ass, I think, Democratic strategist or something, if I remember correctly. I think he is just notoriously wrong all the time, like about every strategy ever, if I remember correctly. I think he was a big Hillary guy. I think he was a big like shut the fuck up about Biden guy, like Biden's not senile guy, which maybe maybe he caught a little bit of what Biden was having. I don't really know. He looks like 107 here. Um, so let's see what James Carville has to say. Trump will be gone sooner than you think! Exclamation point. Let's go.
Eyes blows up in his face. And I'm telling you, I think he's just going to quit next year about this time. I think he's just going to fucking walk away because the Democrats control the House and the Senate. No one's going to pay attention to him. The fiscal condition of the country is beyond in the ditch.
I don't think he's gonna walk. What? Why would he do that? Why would he do that? I don't understand.
The Iran thing has turned into just a catastrophe of the first order.
I don't think he
A little bit
cares.
more of a serious topic here today. We've talked about Trump derangement syndrome. We've had electoral fantasies and things like that. And I've generally believed the way to deal with Trump is through humor and vulgarity and
Hey,
things
so
like
do
that
I.
because you got to fight at his level. But I want to talk
That's what people always say about me, about that I am a very humorous, vulgar person.
about something a little serious here today. First of all, we talked about 3 or 4 days ago war profiteering, and we talked about my
Classic.
personal heroes and should be one of your personal heroes, General Smedley Butler, who said war is a racket. Some wars are just wars, some wars not so just, some wars this, some wars that. This is clearly a racket war, and
Okay.
people are making a lot of money,
Yeah,
a lot of money.
they always do.
And has a long history in our country, a long history around the world. I always say, if the first profession was
Well, primarily in our country, though. If you look at the amount of wars that other people have started compared to the amount of wars that America has started, like, you know, I mean, I think we're pretty high up there, but yeah.
prostitution, the second profession was
What?
war
Wait, what?
in our country, a long history around the world. I always say, if the first profession was prostitution, the second profession was war, and right after somebody thought of war, they thought of war profiteering. But it's
Oh,
stunning what's going on right in front of our eyes. It's stunning that members of the Trump family are
okay. Sure, sure, whatever.
notoriously getting contracts, see drone contracts, or pitching the government for contracts. The level, we don't know. We don't know what the dealings that Jared Kushner has in the Middle East. We have a pretty good idea. And I think part
I worry that he's leaning a little too hard into these like individual acts of corruption or whatever, as opposed to the entire industry is set up to make profit off of like killing like brown people over there, you know, like that's like basically our entire economy at this point. So like we have created this system, like our government and the way it behaves is a reflection of us, the people who allow it to happen. And so like, you know, James Carville, I'm sorry to say, I don't think you're innocent in this either. Neither am I. I'm allowing it to happen to an extent too.
Part of the Democratic messaging has to be we're going to have a commission to thoroughly examine war profiteering and those that have unjustly profited off of war, unjustly. Some people are going to, they have to have fuel in airplanes. Can't blame somebody for.
Okay, yeah, you can. That's unjust as well. Nobody should be profiting. I don't care if you're an owner of like a Raytheon stock or like what. Like, in fact, none of these industries, these war profiteering, like, there should be no such thing. It should be illegal for anyone to make a single dollar off of war. Okay? Like it should be like every single like it should be entirely state owned, entirely state run, and done through taxes only. Like that should be uh it should literally be illegal for anybody to make a profit off of a bomb, oil like jet fuel going out into the like out to our jets or whatever. Like we should not allow anybody to make a single dime off of that. That's immoral. That is an immoral system to allow to take place.
Selling fuel, putting an airplane, they have to have a certain amount of materials and ammunition and food and all the other things that happen. But I'm
Have you
talking
ever considered organizing your modes of production in such a way that it doesn't require pedobillionaires to accumulate ultra mega super profits, you know, in order to go fight their wars to gain even more profits or whatever and go blow up children abroad? Have you ever considered changing your mode of production just a little bit, James
about
Carville?
something way beyond that, way, way
No,
beyond
no,
that.
no, 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 no.
And
It is not way beyond it. Your idea of these little individual acts of corruption are nothing. They are literally nothing compared to the evil and immorality that is our entire industry that is set up to profit off of the murder of brown people. Like seriously, like that it is industrialized. It is the difference between industrialized violence versus an individual act of violence. When someone goes out and kills somebody, that is bad. That is evil, okay? But when like say Hitler rounds up an entire group of people and then industrially slaughters them, or when a bunch of white people buy a bunch of brown people and then industrially use them as a system of creating profit for them, that is entirely like 1 million times more evil. So he has this backwards. He thinks that it's more evil for them to engage in individual acts of corruption, where no, it's the other way around. It is way more evil to have a system and a society that profits off of the death of children abroad or whatever. Like he needs to reverse this logic in his head.
you, my dear people, are owed
He's probably a little
an
too old for
explanation,
that.
and you're also owed accounting, and you're also owed clawbacks. That's just a word I hear all the time. It means whatever they show, the public gets it back. Now, there's some specific things that are going on. First, his story, and I think it was
He's
in the Wall
too
Street
old,
Journal,
man.
but it's
I'm gonna speed him up a little. Sorry, everybody, if you're he just talks too slow.
been in more than one place, so I'm not going to burden your citations. That there has been an unbelievable windfall for oil companies. The figure I remember is
Yeah, for
63
sure.
billion, but that's going to end up being lowballing when you get through with the whole thing. Suppose that we levied an excess all company profit tax. Yeah, excess all company
Hey,
profit tax. That is
I'm
that.
all for it.
You're sitting there and oil is, I don't know, let's just.
I think, hey, James Carville, this is gonna blow your mind. There's already something called that. It's called a windfall tax. We don't do it though. Like, and we should do it for every industry, not just oil. But but yeah.
$70 a barrel. And because of this, I don't want to call it Trump, this buffoon, I'm trying to be nice to you, man, this idiot, this moron,
So nice. That's the nicest thing I've
this,
ever heard.
I don't know, sack of shit president we got.
It's
So
so
Florida
nice.
all goes to $100 a barrel. Obviously, all companies are going to. make more money out of it. I think the profits are. And I think that there should be an assessment at the end of this, or maybe even during this, as to what exactly are the excess profits. I think this should be taxed at a rate of, maybe off the top of my head, 75%, but could negotiate to 70, maybe some might negotiate to 80%. And that money, if it's a device to return it to American consumers, maybe on a rebate on the payroll tax, which probably good, everybody can't do that. You could do any number of things, but the point is, you just don't get to sit there. And there's also stories that this was the Venezuelan incursion was kind of idea from some former Chevron people. You have to check that out. But I think we got to get to the bottom of this: who is promoting this, who's making money on it, who has windfall profits, and
There
we
it
got to
is.
tell
He
the
does
American
know it.
public, because what we're going to find out, is going to knock you on your ass. Okay, the amount of money is being made off of this, and now I generally don't recommend things for you to look at, but the Bullwalk, which I'm a big favor of, has an article by a guy named Jonathan V. Last that talks about how
The
the dollar,
bulwark is
the
the bulwark is not my favorite. Not my favorite channel. Not my favorite article printing machine. It's very much a it's like the counterpart to like if I had to equate it to something like Midas Touch or like Brian Tyler Cohen or whatever, except like the like kind of right wing version of it. So or like the Republican coded version of Trump bad, essentially, which is kind of how I feel like whereas like Midas Touch or like Brian Tyler Cohen are like the liberal coded version of Trump bad. Um, like I just think their opinions are so vapid and pointless that like I lose brain cells every single time I try to watch them.
petrodollar, based on a dollar, has been the currency of the world since the 1973 crisis. You don't want
Okay, sorry. This is more boring than I was expecting it to be. And I guess I should have expected. He is like 112. I'm sorry. The Crypt Keeper here. Yeah, there was one thing that I think, if we it was a good discussion to have is that individual acts of violence or like individual acts of corruption are nothing compared to the industrial scale corruption that is our entire military industrial complex. So at least we got one good thing out of that.